Hello everyone, welcome to the Talking Book channel. Today I'm going to talk to you about a non-fiction book which is usually not my cup of tea, but I did give it a try and yeah, I kind of like it. Just want this one book. So 1 in 10 books I can pick like this and read, I felt. So, this book is How Women Work Fitting In and Standing Out in Asia by Arti Kelshikar. So, as the title itself suggests, it is all about women's career and growth and how it is being affected due to the societal and cultural norms and practices in Asia. So the author has picked various countries in Asia and she discussed the culture and how women are being treated there, or like what is the actual role that the women plays in those countries and how it is being affected in their career and leadership and growth. This book holds a lot of do's and don'ts, the pitfalls to avoid in the growth of a women leader. So basically, the author has interviewed a lot of women leaders across these countries, and she has picked all of their points, like what to do and what not to do, and what all they faced, and how well they experienced it, how well they overcome some things, and how to face all these societal and cultural pressures, how the people in those countries view the leader, and how she can get the team to work on something, how to mingle with the people. For example, she says, if you want to get along with a Chinese team, you just have to eat whatever they offer you. You don't have to, you shouldn't question, actually. You should not question anything. Like, what is this? You just have to gulp it. That's really tough, right? So if you do so, they'll treat you like, yes, he's our guy, and they'll be very open, and they'll come close to you. So basically, this book is, of course, about women leaders, but it can be read by everyone, like men and women both, to understand the countries, to understand how women leaders or women in their teams work, or how they are facing the things being in Asia. So I've highlighted a lot of things in this book, and I really liked many things and some good lessons and learnings. So I'll share all of it with you shortly. Meanwhile, let us look at the chapters. So the book starts with a chapter called A Silver of Culture, wherein it discusses about the various countries that are being discussed in this book and how a culture will affect women's work or career. So countries like Philippines, China, Singapore, Thailand, Japan, and India are being discussed in this chapter. I mean, throughout the book as well. Out of all the countries listed, I felt Philippines are a bit better in treating women, and women there are achieving better than the rest of the countries discussed, but I'm not sure, of course. So I'm reading the highlights in this chapter, which I have highlighted. One reason for this is Thai family structure. It's about the Thailand, which allows one to live with parents and grandparents, enables women to continue to work. Another factor that helps is the availability and affordability of domestic help. So I guess it's the same in India. If there are people to take care of the kids and the home, the women can easily go to the work and also manage the household. So I like this part of the chapter. What's culture got to do with it? Culture, often perceived as an intangible concept not being relevant to professional growth, impacts women's success. Deep rooted perceptions of gender roles, traditional beliefs, and stereotypes impact how women work and lead at different stages in their career. This is so true, as being an Asian woman myself. Their country's general norms and cultural practices as one of the top three barriers to women's rise to leadership. So this chapter 1 gives you all the introduction that is needed for this book, and rest of the chapter is all about what all women leaders should do or should not do, as I told before, and how many women leaders faced all these things in Asia or being in Asia. So basically, a woman needs to do something extra. She should bring something to the table to be accepted by the team, to be treated, of course, not equally to men, but somewhat treated better. She should always work hard, a bit harder than the men. So in the book, it is said that if the man is preparing for a meeting, it is enough if he prepares, a 50% for the meeting. But the woman always comes with a preparation of 90%. So it is the hard work that she does to, put herself forward and highlight herself. That's all I can say. Like, she needed that attention because it is not given. Only when she shows something in the work seriously, that's when she is being considered seriously. But it is not the same for men. So here's a point which I really wanted to say. Dress is an additional layer of complexity that working women sometimes experience in India. This is so true, right? Also, check out this line: the Asian conditioning to be respectful and non confrontational can be a double edged sword when it comes to expressing disagreement or dissent in a corporate environment. This is also associated with feeling shame or loss of face, highly prevalent and manifested across Asia. This is 100% true. And this one is to all women out there. In conclusion, women need to be their own cheerleaders, something that many women find hard to do because it feels like inauthentic self promotion. Women managers and leaders need to find ways of speaking up in their own way. They need to be vocal in order to be visible. So you got to speak out. And there is a topic in this book called Superwomen, where the author says this. She observes that women in Southeast Asia have a senior position at work, but at home they are still the wife and mother and responsible for the household. She points out that this sort of tension between these roles is evident in other places too, but because of the cultural aspect and fusionism, it is a bit more pronounced in Asia. Similarly, a change in mindsets and a more equitable approach to sharing housework would enable women to have better balance, at the very least, between their professional and personal lives. I'm sorry, I'm just reading out all the highlighted lines because that itself will give you what this book is and how this book will help you when you read it. So, at one instance in the book, it is mentioned that a women leader does not want her to be promoted because she is, a woman. Basically, companies does that because they promote women soon because they want to show that they are equal to men and women. But that's not the case. Women does not want that kind of promotion. They want it because of their hard work that they do. They want it because they are to be treated equally to men. They do not want their promotion just because they are women. And I did like the last chapter of this book, which, summarizes all the points, like do's and don'ts, in just one small chapter, the more or less. Of course, I have highlighted few lines in this chapter, which I'm planning to read to you. Learn to manage expectations, aim for less perfection on the home or office front. This is so true and to be followed by every woman in Asia, especially myself and my fellow people. I know people who are struggling to balance both in perfection. They want home to be perfect, they want career to be perfect, which is not, possible. Say yes to opportunities rather than living with regret. Have less guilt and more confidence. Don't be apologetic about balancing work with family and other priorities. Never ask for something because you are a woman. Never ask for a pass. Don't lose your caring and nurturing side. So it is discussed that this caring and nurturing side is a plus for women leaders. They get their team so well that because of this nature this nature in them. Overall, this book holds a lot of tools to, for growth in women's career. And not only that, it also talks a lot about leadership. So I also suggest men to read this book and understand a lot of things about women and also about leadership. For example, see this line: I know of a leader who makes it a point to meet a person from a different industry every month to understand how the developments in that space can be applied to his industry. That's an example of thought leadership in the literal sense. So, yeah, so this book also talks about many different things like this. So, go give a try, both men and women. This will be a very helpful book for women, especially. So, this book will be a best advisor friend to you during your coffee time. So, go check it out and let me know in the comments. Until then, I'll read some more books and get back to you with another good book. Bye from the Talking Book.